Titanic II movie, a disastrous sequel to James Cameron's OG starring Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. When Titanic II was released, it raised questions if it was a follow-up to Rose's story. The Disastrous movie was released in 2010. James Cameron's Titanic became one of the most iconic films in cinematic history, achieving massive success both critically and commercially. The movie captivated the audiences with its blend of romance, drama, and historical tragedy centered on the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet in the lead roles, Titanic grossed over $2 billion worldwide. While many believed that a sequel to the 11 Academy Awards-winning movie would happen, Cameron's Titanic remains a standalone story. However, when Titanic II was released, it raised questions if it was a follow-up to Rose's story. Unfortunately, there's never been a sequel to Titanic, and Titanic II doesn't relate to Cameron at all. Titanic II is actually a disaster movie directed by Shane Van Dyke in 2010. The movie takes place 100 years after the tragedy of the RMS Titanic and follows the maiden voyage of a modern luxury liner, RMS Titanic II. The ship embarks on its maiden voyage, reversing the original route from New York to Southampton. The central characters include the ship's designer, Hayden Walsh, and nurse Amy Amin. In this movie, global warming is the cause of the disaster as a tsunami sends an iceberg crashing into the ship, leading to its catastrophic sinking. In the end, Hayden sacrifices himself to save Amy, who is later rescued by her father, Captain James Mayne. Titanic II premiered on TV in Australia and aired on Sci-Fi in the UK and Ireland. It also received a limited theatrical release in the US, unlike Cameron's original Titanic. Despite praise for the cast's performances, it garnered negative reviews. With a modest budget, it remains a lighthearted disaster movie that doesn't connect to the 1997 classic, nor does it try to be a spiritual sequel. On the other hand, although Titanic never had a sequel, its real-life tragedy has been an inspiration for a ton of other movies. In fact, the original movie came out 29 days after the RMS Titanic sank. Saved from the Titanic, released in 1912, stars silent film actress Dorothy Gibson, who was a real-life survivor of the Titanic disaster. After returning to New York following the tragedy, Gibson co-wrote the film's script, which featured a character based on her own experience. Not only this, but there are more than 15 feature films about the RMS Titanic.